Luc Besson is a French film director, writer, and producer. He is known for directing and producing thrillers and action films that are visually rich. Besson had been nominated for Best Director and Best Picture car copyright César awards for his films La Copyright On, The Professional and The Messenger, The Story of Joan of Arc. He won Best Director and Best French Director for his film The Fifth Element. His Taken 2 is France's biggest export success. In 1980 he founded his own production company, called Les Films du Loup, and later Les Films du Dauphin. This was superseded in 2000 by his co-founding EuropaCorp film company with his longtime collaborator, Pierre-Ange Le Pogam. Besson has been involved with filmmaking for more than 50 films, spanning 26 years, as writer, director, and/or producer. He has also been called the John Hughes of action movies, due to his writing screenplays for action movies. Early life: Besson was born in Paris, to parents who both worked as Club Med scuba diving instructors. Influenced by this milieu, as a child Besson planned to become a marine biologist. He spent much of his youth traveling with his parents to tourist resorts in Italy, Yugoslavia, and Greece. The family returned to France when Besson was 10. His parents promptly divorced and each remarried. "Here there is two families, and I am the only bad souvenir of something that doesn't work," he said in the International Herald Tribune. "And if I disappear, then everything is perfect. The rage to exist comes from here. I have to do something. Otherwise I am going to die." At the age of 17, Besson had a diving accident that left him unable to dive. "I was 17 and I wondered what I was going to do. So I took a piece of paper and on the left I put everything I could do, or had skills for, and all the things I couldn't do. The first line was shorter and I could see that I loved writing, I loved images, I was taking a lot of pictures. So I thought maybe movies would be good. But I thought that to really know I should go to a set. And a friend of mine knew a guy whose brother was a third assistant on a short film. It's true," he said in a 2000 interview with The Guardian. "So, I said, okay, let's go on the set. So I went on the set. The day after I went back to see my mum and told her that I was going to make films and stop school and buy. And I did it. Very soon after I made a short film and it was very, very bad. I wanted to prove that I could do something, so I made a short film. That was in fact my main concern, to be able to show that I could do one." Career: out of boredom, Besson started writing stories, including the background to what he later developed as The Fifth Element, one of his most popular movies. The film is inspired by the French comic books which Besson read as a teenager. He reportedly worked on the first drafts of Le Grand Bleu while still in his teens. Besson directed and co-wrote the screenplay of the science fiction thriller with the screenwriter, Robert Marc Carmen. At 18, Besson returned to his birthplace of Paris. There he took odd jobs in film to get a feel for the industry. He worked as an assistant to directors including Claude Ferraldo and Patrick Grandperrot. Besson directed 3 short films, a commissioned documentary, and several commercials. After this, he moved to the United States for 3 years, but returned to Paris, where he formed his own production company. He first named it Les Films du Loup, but changed it to Les Films du Dauphin. In the early 1980s, Besson met a Rick Serra and asked him to compose the score for his first short film, L'Avant-Dernier. He later used Serra as a composer for others of his films. Since the late 20th century, Besson has written and produced numerous action movies, including the Taxi and the Transporter series, and the Jet Li films Kiss of the Dragon and Unleash Danny the Dog. His English-language films Taken and Taken 2, both starring Liam Neeson, have been major successes, with Taken 2 becoming the largest-grossing export French film. Besson produced the promotional movie for the Paris bid for the 2012 Summer Olympics. Besson won Best Director and Best French Director for his film The Fifth Element. He was nominated for Best Director and Best Picture car copyright César awards for his films La Copyright On, The Professional and The Messenger, The Story of Joan of Arc. Signer copyright Mar du Luc, Critics cite Besson as a pivotal figure in the Cine-copyright Mare du Luc movement, a specific, highly visual style produced from the 1980s into the early 1990s. Subway, The Big Blue and Nikita are all considered to be of this stylistic school. The term was coined by critic Raphael Besson in a 1989 essay in La Revue du Cinéma No. 449. A partisan of the experimental cinema and friend of the New Wave directors, Besson grouped Besson with Jean-Jacques Biniaux and Léos Carax as three directors who shared the style of Le Look. These directors were later described as favoring style over substance, and spectacle over narrative. Besson, along with most of the filmmakers so categorized, was uncomfortable with the label, particularly in light of the achievements of their forebears, France's New Wave. Jean-Luc Godard and Francesc Noir Truffaut were rebelling against existing cultural values and used cinema as a means of expression simply because it was the most avant-garde medium at the time, said Besson in a 1985 interview in the New York Times. Today, the revolution is occurring entirely within the industry and is led by people who want to change the look of movies by making them better, more convincing and pleasurable to watch. Because it's becoming increasingly difficult to break into this field, we have developed a psychological armor and are ready to do anything in order to work, he added in this same interview. I think our ardor alone is going to shake the pillars of the movie-making establishment. Besson directed a biopic of Aung San Suu Kyi called The Lady, which was released in the fall of 2011. He also worked on Lockout, which was released in April 2012. Many of Besson's films have achieved popular, if not critical, success. One such release was Le Grand Bleu. When the film had its premiere on opening night at the 1988 Cannes Film Festival, it was mercilessly drubbed, but no matter. It was a smash, observed the International Herald Tribune in a 2007 profile of Besson. Embraced by young people who kept returning to see it again, the movie sold 10 million tickets and quickly became what the French call a film gare copyright na copyright rationnel, a defining moment in the culture. Besson created the Arthur series, which comprises Arthur and the Minimoys, Arthur and the Forbidden City, Arthur and the Vengeance of Maltazed and Arthur and the War of the Two Worlds. He directed Arthur and the Invisibles, an adaptation of the first two books of the collection. A film with live action and animation, it was released in the UK and the US and starred Freddie Highmore, Madonna, Snoop Dogg, Mia Farrow, Robert De Niro and David Bowie. Critical evaluation: Besson has been described as the most Hollywood of French filmmakers. Tobias Scott wrote that his slick, commercial action movies were so interchangeably Euro drugs, sleaze, chuckling supervillainy, and Hong Kong-style effects Euro that each new project probably starts with whiteout on the title page. American film critic Armand White has praised Besson, whom he ranks as one of the best film producers, for refining and revolutionizing action film. He wrote that Besson dramatizes the struggle of his characters as a conscientious resistance to human degradation. Personal life: Besson has been married 4 times. First, in 1986, to actress Anne Perillold, who would star in Besson's Nikita. The couple divorced in 1991. Besson's second wife was actress Maureen Lebesco, who was just 15 when they began dating in 1991. They were married in late 1992 when Lebesco was pregnant with their daughter Shanna, who was born on January 3, 1993. Lebesco later claimed that their relationship inspired Besson's film La Copyright On. Their marriage ended in 1997, when Besson became involved with American actress Milla Jovovich during the filming of The Fifth Element. He married the 22-year-old on December 14, 1997, at the age of 38, but they divorced in 1999. On August 28, 2004, at the age of 45, Besson married film producer Virginie Silla. He has 4 daughters from his previous marriages and relationships. Besson and Silla's son Mao was born in 2005. Filmography: see Luc Besson Filmography, Legacy and Honours. Among Besson's awards are the Brussels International Festival of Fantasy Film Critics Prize, Fantasporto Audience Jury Award Special Mention, Best Director, and Best Film, for La Dernière Combat in 1983. The Italian National Syndicate of Film Journalists Silver Ribbon Best Director Foreign Film, for La Femminichetta, 1990. The Alexander Korda Award for Best British Film, Nil by Mouth, 1997. And the Best Director César Award, for The Fifth Element, 1997. Film Company. In 2000, Besson superseded his production company by co-founding EuropaCorp with Pierre-Ange Le Pogam, with whom he had frequently worked since 1985. Le Pogam had then been distribution director with Gaumont. EuropaCorp has had strong growth based on several English-language films, with international distribution. It has production facilities in Paris, Normandy, and Hollywood, and is establishing distribution partnerships in Japan and China. Music videos: Paul Marine, Isabella Gianni, Mon la Copyright Guinea, Serge Gainsbourg, K. Mon Ka la Senche, Marlene Farmer, Love Profusion, Madonna, Olympus, Kerry James. References. External links: Luc Besson at the Internet Movie Database, Luc Besson et al. Movie, Luc Besson official homepage at luc-besson.com, Luc Besson interview, Angel A, JewReview.net video interview with Luc Besson and Rai Rasmussen about Angel A, in-depth interview with Luc Besson.